Oh!
What's going on, guys? Kind of a big deal videos. Paul here. There's a reason I'm not wearing a shirt today. It's actually to illustrate a point. So today's video topic is the illusion of perceived size or muscle fullness, for lack of a better explanation. Perceived size, or what we perceive as size, is actually just muscle fullness. And I mean, hypothetically, if a bodybuilder was eating properly, on point all the time, they would likely always have muscle fullness. However, my personal belief is that if you're always, filling your muscle out to the maximum of its capacity, so all your glycogen is full and all your muscle glycogen is full, that likely means you're eating enough to put on quite a bit of weight. So there has to be a period when you're, bulking, or excuse me, not bulking, but when you're cutting back or you're prepping for a show, which we call the depletion period. And I'm not talking about the 4 weeks prior to a show. I'm talking about when you're kind of eating less, less carbohydrates, and your muscles flatten out. Some people do ketosis diets, and of course they kind of flatten out. Now this isn't so noticeable when you're at this lower body fat, because at that point you're so shredded. I mean, you have so little body fat. Right now, I'm at a considerable, for myself, I mean, I wouldn't say this is a huge amount of body fat. However, this is probably the 8 to 9, maybe even 10% range. Whereas when you're prepping for a show and you're a couple weeks out, maybe 4 weeks out, I would assume if you're a good enough bodybuilder, you should be at 5, 4%, 6%, no more than 6, 4 weeks out. And if that's the case, then you're going to see your striations, and I mean, either you're going to be able to see how flat you are at that point, because I mean you're just so lean that you'll notice it visibly, or you're not going to be able to tell because you're just always looking so kind of grainy and freaky. So the closer you get to a show, the more you can live with muscle flatness and not really realize it. You actually probably don't really know if you're going to compete, and you're at that level of body fat, how full you're going to get until the show is well over and you've eaten like your cheat meals and or whatever you do post show, and your glycogen, all the stores fill out. Most guys will say after a show they feel that they looked better, which generally isn't the case. It's just that they filled their muscles to the capacity, and the stage presence isn't ever as good when your muscles are that full, because likely you're going to lose separation and you're going to lose all types of detail that you would have had if you would have just kept it under control and not been as full. So the biggest guy doesn't always look like the biggest guy. Generally, it's the leanest guy that looks like the biggest guy. So it's a strategy you have to take when going into a show. Now, that being said, the reason I wanted to make this video, well, there's a couple reasons. I have a picture. I'm going to load up the picture here at this spot in the video. Hopefully it'll load. In this picture, it demonstrates that the guy on the right, which is me, I think that's probably hours after I got my tan, so likely the day before a show. It was the day before a show. The next morning was the show, and the guy to the left, the folder guy, is also me, and that's me about 2 days after the show. Back when I was back in Ottawa from Toronto, so that's likely 2 or 3 days. I can't give you an exact time frame. We were there. Yeah, I would say no more than 2 or 3 days. So I had done my fair share of eating, and of course I was still working out a little bit, so that I might have actually filled out a little bit more when I got home. I'm not sure, but anyways, I definitely filled out in the picture because of the eating I had been doing post show. So and prior to, I wasn't even close to done my carb up in the picture on the other side of the scale. So that there you can see in this picture, it illustrates the fact that size is an illusion. So if I was to put on a shirt right now, oh yeah, and the other reason is if you guys want to reference my Kevin LeBron video, that was done on Thursday or Wednesday. No, it was done on Thursday. We are Sunday. So on Thursday, I was just finishing up. I was going extremely low carbohydrate, doing a lot of exercise because I've been dieting down to get leaner, and I continue to diet down. But Saturdays or Sundays, I typically have a refeed because I'm in no hurry, and I decided to add a refeed in once a week just so I can feel a little bit fuller and get the foods I like in too. So that being said, I had sushi yesterday, and I also had a couple of crackers and Mama Tea cookies. I had 2 Mama Tea cookies. So significantly more carbohydrates than I would typically eat. So that results in the fullness that you see today. So if you guys reference that, if you guys go to the Kevin LeBron video, you'll see that I'm a lot, like my arms are a lot less full. You can see, not really seeing the arms here. My arms are very flat, and I look at the video and I'm thinking about how much weight I've lost when I watch the video. And even as a bodybuilder who understands these concepts, who understands that my muscles were flat, and I still have this significant body fat on me, so you can't really see. Like I don't have enough to see fine detail yet. So when I flatten out, it kind of just looks like I've lost a lot of weight, not maybe even muscle, which isn't the case. What's actually happening is I've just flattened out, and my muscles need to be, replenished, filled out. So this weekend, for the sake of illustration, I did my carb up, and today I worked out quite a bit, so I'm still going off those carbs from yesterday. And also I did increase my carbs a little today. I'm going to start decreasing a little tomorrow. And this is my new strategy, kind of carb deloading for this diet. I'm going to try it out and see how it works. But anyhow, long story short, I am full as I could be today, and I feel full as I can be. So that's the difference. I want to just bring this to your attention. And another point I'd like to reference is that a lot of people in the gym, they automatically assume, or they think that the easy way to get bigger, to fill out, or to look great is by taking some kind of supplement. Now, this isn't the case. Guys, time and time again, I've been bodybuilding for about 5 years now, 4.5, 4 years, I'm not quite sure, 4.5 yet. And time again, I see the only thing that really changes my physique dramatically within days is food. Within months, if you need to make changes, it's going to be the way you eat. Food is everything. Training, I mean, obviously, myself, I train consistently. I train consistently hard. I'm sure that training has a big part in it, but that part I find isn't as important as food would be in terms of the aesthetic appearance. So manipulating the way you eat, sodium, carbohydrates, fats, this will help you, in turn, look different. And if people just understood that, then they would probably use less supplements, which it can be completely negated. I mean, you'll save money, and I mean, you'll probably save a little bit of your health too, right? Depending on what kind of supplementation you're going for. So that's it. Also, I've been watching some other YouTube channels, and I was linked over to Jimmy J. I don't know what to make of this guy. Anyways, I think it's atrocious the way he comments on other people in the industry. Like I'm not a fan of how I agree that Piana he's marketing to kids, and I think that his approach should be a little bit more fine-tuned, because what he does is he's recommending very dangerous things, and his advice is often his own misconceptions that are fueled by his body dysmorphic disorder. I know I've been there, and I've had these misconceptions as well. And if I would have shared them with the general public at the time, it would have been extremely damaging. So when you're in that position, and I'm 35 years old, Rich Piana's like 40 something years old. It's time you mature and make the decision to promote positivity in the community and help kids, stay healthy, grow, and be as healthy as they can be in the bodybuilding process if they decide to join this community. Okay, so my point was that as much as I dislike some of these YouTube personalities, I'll never speak ill. Like, I understand that these are things I'm against, the way Piana preaches openly. There are some people who will just, this guy is commenting on his look, how he has body dysmorphic disorder. He's basically just making fun of him and making him look like a moron, and it's not the right approach. So this Jimmy J guy has a video about Cali Muscle, and the reason I'm bringing this up is it really touches on this point, to the filling out. And he's saying that essentially he's saying Cali Muscle was on steroids, and then he went off steroids, and he looked differently in the video. And it's so ridiculous, I can't even wrap my mind around it. I made a comment on there, and I said, listen, the one photo that he says he was on steroids when it was taken, Cali Muscle is lean. He's like 4 or 5%, and he's shredded. He's shredded. He's lean, and he's full. He probably was doing a photo shoot or a video. I know he does commercials, so he was doing something after a competition, I'm sure, and he was doing some kind of media promotion. Yeah, he ate some food. It's common sense. He looked full as hell. His chest, like mine right now, is nice and full, and then he shows a picture where one, he's not as full, and two, the camera's angled differently. So, if I slouch down, my traps and my delts and everything, depending on how I position my body, when I do a selfie even, I do a selfie and I position my arm like this, my arm is close to the camera. The lens is concave, or is it convex? I forget. But anyways, the way the lens is positioned, it makes my arm look bigger because I'm closer, just like my hand is bigger to you guys right now, right? So it's a visual illusion, and he's positioned in such a way in the other picture where Cali Muscle looks small, or smaller. He doesn't look small. He just looks slightly different. In fact, I couldn't even really tell the difference. He was a little flatter, yeah, and his delts weren't popping as much, and maybe he wasn't flexing. Like it's such a ridiculous commentary. And then he goes on to say, I'd rather listen to a guy who's healthy and promoting health in the industry and da da da. A, buddy, listen, Cali Muscle doesn't promote the use of anabolics. And B, he as much as Cali Muscle has his, there's nuances, and as much as he has his bad points, he does try to promote, to some extent, some positivity. And I understand that there's reasons not to like Cali Muscle. But anyways, aside from that, it's just ridiculous. It was like a straw man attack, and his arguments were completely nonsensical. We'd call this a non sequitur. They don't even add up to his end conclusion. There was no end conclusion that added to the sub points he was making. The premises didn't add up. Cali is small here, Cali is big here. I'd rather listen to a guy who doesn't use steroids. I'd rather listen to the guy in that picture, so he shouldn't use steroids. Cali Muscle doesn't say he uses steroids. I wish people would stop attacking people in the community. I wish people would start promoting positivity. And I really do wish more people would make videos teaching the youth how to be more prudent and to bodybuild correctly and be safe. And you know what? Furthermore, I wish there were doctors who were more educated on the topic, because in my opinion, this is an epidemic. I go to the gyms, and the 20-year-olds and the 19-year-olds are increasingly more concerned with their body image. And Pope and all had a study on it. I know I had a video on muscle dysmorphia, this is an epidemic. I mean, women always had. I mean, traditionally, it's been said that there had been body dysmorphic disorders or image disorders related to the female gender because they would suffer from diseases like bulimia or psychological illnesses that had to do with weight. I strongly believe that this is affecting the male community equally as much now, and it's not being looked at, and people are not being given the guidance because there's not enough research and there aren't any doctors who are willing to help. We have an interesting doctor here in Ottawa who works with individuals, athletes, and he really has a good understanding of the physiology and how to better monitor your health when you're an athlete. So I really think the education piece has to be out there because I'm sorry, it's happening, guys. Like, it's happening, and we know this is, kids are getting into bodybuilding earlier, and some of the nuances or some of the caveats that come with bodybuilding too are then transferred down to the kids and or the younger generation, and we need someone to help. We need professionals to help, and they should just step up to the plate. Anyways, that's my rant. Again, I've always been like a libertarian, and I think that freedom to is much better than freedom from. So you should have a permissive approach to the way you regulate things, or the way you just have some kind of social control. And the best form of social control, in my opinion, is education. And we're just not doing that. We're just not educating people. We're just saying, don't do, don't do, don't do. This is bad. That's not the solution. The solution is to help people understand why things are bad, and how to better themselves, or maybe just have professionals look at mental health and maybe even physical health, just to mitigate problems. Anyways, 17-minute video again. Good job, Paul. That's my rant. I hope you guys stuck through the whole thing. So I guess it was a little bit longer than I thought, but kind of a big deal videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.